Oh my God, I know. Hold on. Gosh, gosh. I am so sorry I'm late. I'm like sweating. Hi, everybody. Welcome, Recovery Prescribed. My name's Pauline. For those of you who don't know me, I'm so sorry. I had to do it at 9:30. Hangout problems, Google Hangouts. The computer I'm using has no mic. It's a monster of a beast, like from the 1980s computer. But I'm getting a laptop, so things will get better. Hi, Angela. Hi, Kathy. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and coming. Hi, Potty Mouth. Welcome. Excuse me while I take like a chunk of food. I know it's so rude. I worked today. I came home. I had to go to the mall to pick up something. Had to, because they're pants for work. I spilled something. Here's my napkin. Thank you. I'm trying. Thank you, Tony. Hi, happy wife. We're gonna wait a couple of minutes to get more people in here. Hi, Chicago. Roll call. Where's everyone from? Boston. Oh, sarcasm. You're very welcome, honey. You're very welcome. All right, let me get on my computer. YouTube. Let me get my monitor so I can see comments. There we go. Yay. Connecticut. Texas, Wisconsin. Kimmy, you're from Boston? Nice. South Australia, here to support. Oh, thank you so much, Janelle. Tewksbury, nice. Up near Salisbury Beach. San Diego, Canada, Newfoundland, wow. Midwest, now in the burbs of New York City. Wisconsin. Hi, Delusional. Master's degree in substance abuse counseling. Awesome, you'll have a lot to offer. New Haven, Connecticut, Remy, Texas, Los Angeles. Anywhere where there's a beach. The weather's horrible here. Yeah, I lived in Hawaii, Maui, came back. Family issues. Louisiana, how y'all's doing, Potty Mouth? Hi, Love Bug. Hey, Purple. So I couldn't do Hangouts, and I apologize because I asked for someone to be a guest, and this desktop is a gateway. All right, we're aging ourselves here. Has no mic, has no webcam, but I'm grateful it has a monitor and I can see everybody chatting. So I couldn't get into Hangouts from my phone, not on YouTube. Hi, Purple Rain. I was an alcoholic from 13 to 36 till I almost died. I'm glad you're doing this. Yeah, Purple. Do you know the average age of death from alcoholism is now in the 30s? It used to be 60s. There's some good documentaries out there on that. I think they did one. It was filmed in England. And I've had many patients. I'm a nurse. I've had many patients in their 30s, early 40s that died from cirrhosis of the liver. They have to get tapped every other day, every week. And tapping is when you build up fluids in your abdomen and you look like you're pregnant if you're a woman. And it's all, and they drain all that fluid out. It's awful. Hi, Oregon. Eating disorders, Abigail, honey, I'm not experienced enough with eating disorders. You know who is good is, oh, what's her name? How could I forget her name? I'm in touch with her so often on YouTube. I'm just drawing a blank. She has anorexia. She's had it for years. I'm surprised she's still alive. She lives in California. Oh, what's her name? I'll put her link under this, okay, after. She's gonna kill me for forgetting her YouTube channel name. Yes, congratulations to everybody in recovery. Everyone's welcome here. Those in recovery, those who are struggling with drug or alcohol addiction, and family members who have a loved one or friend who's struggling with drug addiction. It is a family disease and it affects everybody. Everybody. Let me put my mic in. The curled up mic. That's okay, Purple Rain. Congratulations, Michelle. My son overdosed on your last live game night. I had to call 911, and then one of the police officers called him a junkie when he started the extreme paranoid behavior. Yeah, sarcasm. There's still a lot of ignorance out there. A lot of ignorance. And all we can do with that is, educate people. Ignorance is taught. So if you educate, from parents or other people, like those trigger words, junkie, people who just refer to those struggling with drug addiction as addicts. I don't like to do that. I always refer to those who have drug addiction as those struggling with drug addiction. I don't call them addicts. It just sounds like a label. Hi, Todd. How are you? Is your son okay? Sarcasm? It's awful. It's scary. It's very scary. Because, heroin, I don't even know why they call it heroin anymore. They should just call it fentanyl. Because that's all it is. Fentanyl is white. Heroin, plain heroin, is brown. Very fine brown powder. And now it's white. And it used to be when it first came out, like people who were struggling with addiction were very careful on what they were getting. But they always got a little bit of the fentanyl. It kept adding and adding and adding because it's more addicting. And now you can go out there and get heroin and it's all white and it doesn't matter. Yeah, black heroin. Yeah. It's all fentanyl. It's not the fentanyl, it's not the heroin that will kill someone struggling. It's the fentanyl. Can kill in seconds. Fast enough where you can't even get the needle out of your arm. It's going to be a tough discussion here at times and scary, but this is why we're here. And a lot of people have that elephant in the room, and there's no time for that with this drug epidemic. No time for elephants. You got to push them right out. And you've got to get help for your loved one. And it's an ecstasy now, too. Fentanyl is. Why are dealers mixing it into heroin, Patton's girl? Because it's more profitable for them. It's more addicting. Yeah, there's people dying. A lot of times it's all they can get because that's all that's available because they get it from, it comes from the cartels and it gets its way over into the United States. And it's already cut. Lolo, congratulations. Yeah, Suboxone, this is my feeling on Suboxone. There's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of groups out there on Facebook who are against Suboxone. And, you know, if it saves a life for one day, for a year, yeah, it is a tough withdrawal, I've heard. But if it guarantees that you're not going to die, you know, and you can get off of it, it's not impossible. It is a tough withdrawal, but hopefully with the right provider, the right doctor, it doesn't have to be as bad as a lot of people say it is. Yeah, you taper. And tapering can take a long time on Suboxone. Sometimes people taper for a few years. And sometimes people are on a maintenance dose the rest of their life. So, thanks, Tony. Suboxone saved Remy's life. Yeah, it does. You really gonna want it though, you know, because then you could deal with the Suboxone and people who get it, they sell it, they speedball. Yeah, it's so the bottom line is mentally, the person struggling really needs to want to get clean. And don't let everyone tell you, oh, if you're on Suboxone, you're not clean. You are. And you should be very proud of yourself. Very proud. Justine, they're cracking down. I know in Massachusetts, even a couple of doctors have been charged with homicide or manslaughter for prescribing opiates that killed their patient. They're in jail. They're in prison. But those Massachusetts is going that direction with drug dealers. They will charge them with homicide. Yep. Oh, so before we start this, oh my God, I wanted to say just the serenity prayer. We got 55 people. That's good. All right. So God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Isa. Yeah, Isa, your sister gets them and sells them for drugs. I've called her doctor. Nothing is done. You know, that's the hard thing about this is that we try and try to help the person struggling with addiction, and we are powerless. That's the step one in the 12-step program. We are powerless. And it's true. I mean, there is a power out there, but we are powerless. You've got to let it go. And I know you want to save your sister. I was doing it for my son, and it's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and getting the same results, which is nowhere. You're welcome, Abigail. Lolo, yeah, so this is my theory on it, okay? People say, oh, well, it's a choice. I'm not even going to go there. It's not a choice, okay? Our brains are wired. If you look on YouTube for animated explanations of drug addiction, there's some really good videos out there that show how the brain gets addicted. I could have a glass of wine and you could be sitting next to me. I could drink it and be like, I'm fine. You could drink it and something snaps. Something gets miswired in your brain that's not in my brain. It's like Russian roulette. It truly is. And I could never pick up a drink again, or maybe in 3 years. I'm not a big drinker. But some people, their brains aren't wired like that, and it's not your fault. It is, and it's the same with drugs. When Farm America came out with OxyContin. Purdue claimed it wasn't addicting. That's when it all started. They wanted to sell their product and they did good. They made billions. And I even worked with doctors who profited off of it greatly, greatly. It is addicting. It is one of the most addicting medications there is, aside from fentanyl. And they lied, and they knew they were lying. Massachusetts has sued, put in a lawsuit last year, and is suing Farm America for misrepresentation and to hold them responsible for all the deaths from overdoses. And a lot of it started there, and doctors were just handing them out, handing them out. And even though some doctors knew they were addicting, when they knew the truth, they didn't say anything. And I've been a nurse for 31 years. I've seen it. I've seen it. The choice is to pick up that drink or drugs. Well, you know something? Look at it this way. Yeah, purple. If you broke your arm or your leg and you went to the ER, the doctor there, you've never done drugs before, gives you a prescription. Hi, Tony. Gives you a prescription for Vicodin. And if your brain is wired toward addiction, you will get addicted, okay? So it's not always, you don't say, well, I broke my leg. I don't choose to go on that. I'm just going to live in pain. People don't know ahead of time. And that's how a lot of these addictions started. The dentist pulling all these wisdom teeth out of these young kids. A lot of it started that way. So, you can't say, I just sat around with a bunch of friends and we just decided to raid, our parents' medicine cabinet and try some pills. Some do. But didn't we all do stupid stuff? I mean, didn't we all dabble in the alcohol, the liquor cabinet? In the 80s when cocaine was prevalent and a social drug. And you were either the lucky one or you were not the lucky one. You can't rewire your brain. You can rewire your thinking. You will always be an addict. You will always be an addict. It's hard, yeah, but you will always be an addict. So you can't rewire it because you could be sober 10 years. You pick up a drink or a drug, you're going right back to where you were. So it's rewiring your way of thinking. Doesn't always start with a choice, Isa. It really doesn't, You started with a script. Right. So the doctor should have, I don't know, a lot of doctors will keep refilling. Like some people can deal with it for a few days of a pain pill for like a fracture or something, or surgery, but then they go back for more because they become dependent and then become addicted. So, hi, my name is Deanna. Hi. Hi, Deanna. Welcome. What is a brain recall drug? I have no idea. Yeah, purple cocaine's a little bit different though. Cocaine's not psychologically addicting. Right, coffee, you're right. You trust a doctor. And that's why it's important if you're clean and you do hurt yourself and end up in the ER, you need to let them know that you are in recovery. Thanks. It's being told choose either your marriage or your child who keeps relapsing, who could get your home raided or bring people into your home who steal from you to get drugs. Oh, yeah. There's the dark side of addiction. There is the dark side. And that's when the families get affected. It's bad enough that your loved one is struggling and then the stealing, and it's awful. You're lucky, Purple. Never liked pills. Oh, that's all right, Daffodil. Yeah, I'm hungry too. What do you do when the only thing that helps your pain is an opiate? And you don't want to take them forever. There's other options. There's other options, and people have to be open to that, Todd. There's pain clinics. There's, internal stimulators for pain. There, acupuncture, chiropractor. There's options. There's options. I think we rely too much on opiates to think that, we'll automatically just have to have opiates, and we think long term. There's methadone for pain. Doctors can prescribe methadone for pain instead of, the typical opiates. And sometimes people have to be on that the rest of their life. And that's okay. Methadone helps with pain. Methadone messes with your teeth. Well, I don't know. I think if I had a loved one and the only choice was methadone, I'd say lose the teeth if it meant saving his life or her life. Seriously. I know that sounds awful, right? But I figure, oh man, I need mods. Nenny, good for him. Your brother's a research doctor. He's looking to find a drug like methadone. That's right, Harry. They get dentures. Yeah, let them have dentures and let them have their life. That's how I look at it. And look at all the people on meth. Okay? More than all their teeth are gone. When I look at a meth person addicted, I don't see their teeth. I see their life and how important, how worthy they are of living. I mean, they can always get dentures. Right. You're welcome. Dental work is expensive. But if someone ends up getting dentures, you know what? It's not the end of the world. That's how I look at it. Cheaper for dentures. Shit, 20,000. Yank 'em. You're welcome, Tony. Okay. I so wish I had Google Hangouts. Okay. For anyone struggling with drug addiction, families trying to cope, this is the National Drug Helpline. I should have told you to get a piece of paper and a pen. All right, can you see that? Is that coming out the right way? Okay. 1-888-633-3239. That's the National Drug Helpline. The national one. That's the one you want to call. Yeah, screenshot it. Because the other ones you find out are just pinned to certain recovery centers. Okay, but this is the National Drug Helpline. This is the number you want to call. All right, they have resources. Okay, detox, where there's detox available, even if it's across the country. If there's a bed open, you do your best and get that person there. I don't care if you're on the East Coast and California has a bed. Put your loved one on a plane and get your loved one there. Okay? Thanks, Remy. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Feels weird not being pink. I was going to put my chicken hat on. Bye, Mary. Thanks for coming. Cocaine. Oh, cocaine in the 80s. Laura, you know it was everywhere. Nightclubs, yeah, you want to do a line. I mean, it was everywhere. Nobody was like, you know. But it wasn't as addicting. Like, I never knew a lot of people addicted to cocaine. Like, they just stopped. It was like, oh, hell with this, I need to sleep. And they stopped. You're pink no matter what. Oh, thanks, Todd. You're going to get your package Monday. She said next week. I'm like, Monday? Like, it takes 2 to 3 days. I mailed it Friday. You should get it Monday. Tony, I agree. So this opiate crisis, and you get the people who really need medication, and everyone's looked at as like, oh, you know, it's hard. It's hard to find that balance for these doctors, I'm sure, because they're getting, you know, they're the medical board's coming down on them. They're monitoring them through the prescription monitoring program. I mean, they're on edge too. You're welcome, Todd. They think you're a drug addict. I know. I've seen that. I've worked with doctors. I've seen legit patients with rheumatoid arthritis, serious debilitating diseases. And the doctor's like, nope. And that's it. Go to a pain clinic. Then the pain clinic goes and they're like, we don't prescribe pills. Go back to your doctor. I know what you mean. I saw it. All right, so the National Drug Line. Support groups. Anyone in recovery knows support groups are so important. They are so important. I've known people who've been in them for 30 years. They have to keep going. And they serve others by going too. You know, being of service to others is great in recovery. Okay, where's the... Hold on, guys. Okay. Okay, there's AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, okay? This is their website, okay? A lot of people who are addicted to drugs go to AA. It's not just really for alcohol. There's NA, Narcotics Anonymous out there. Those meetings can be a little bit more challenging to find. They're out there, but AA has become like AA and NA together. Yeah, Remy, na.org or aa.org. Okay, you can go in there, type in your zip code, your town, your state, and find a meeting. Okay, and hopefully at some point find a sponsor that you can trust. The meeting locator for NA, okay, this is the meeting locator for NA. NA.org, Narcotics Anonymous. My writing sucks. It's because I'm in the medical field. Okay, let's see. Al-Anon for families affected by drug or alcohol addiction. Al-Anon, which I went to for years. al-anon, ANON.org. Al-Anon. www.al-anon.org. Now, sometimes you have to keep going to different meetings in different towns or cities to find one that you feel comfortable with. So if you go to one and they're like, you know, it's a choice, and they say something that triggers, you know, you don't have to go there. You can just keep going until you find what you feel comfortable with. Al-Anon is amazing. The thing with Al-Anon is, especially with the opiate crisis being so prevalent and bad now, Al-Anon is still about focusing on you, like the family member, and they don't really touch on your loved one who's struggling. And now with the fentanyl, like you're a wreck. You want advice. Your mission is to save their life. And Al-Anon will not focus on that. Al-Anon, at least not for me, it didn't. Al-Anon was just like, I remember saying one time at a meeting, you know, they're talking about one of the steps being powerless. And the 12 steps is great. I don't even care if you don't have a drug problem, if you don't have anyone in your family, everyone should live their life by the 12-step program. So I said, well, what if my son is walking down the train tracks and he's got his earbuds in and the music's blaring and there's a train coming and I'm on the side of the tracks and I see this. I am going to go there and push him out of the way so he doesn't get killed. And they said to me, no, you can't. He's responsible for his own behavior. And I was like, but that's my son. I can save him. I can lead him in the right direction. So that's how I look at Al-Anon, like, you know, and they were great for me because by the time I went there, I was nearly hospitalized for depression. I was a wreck. I didn't know where to turn, and I walked in there a broken person. Broken. And it was the best thing for me. Now I spend more time at a support group that gives advice that we are out to save lives, and we're more active in the person struggling with drug addiction. We're more active in their life, not enabling them. You know, we don't just kick them out and say, you know, when you sober up or when you stay clean, you'll get your cell phone back or you'll be able to move back home. It doesn't work like that anymore. This drug is so powerful. And the same with all the other drugs. Thanks, Kimmy, for subscribing. That mentality, like when I was growing up in the 70s, like even my dad, you know, like 10 years ago was like, kick him out. He'll learn his lesson. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way, Dad. It doesn't work that way. You kick him out and they're going to use more. Excuse me. And you can't. You have to there's a fine line between enabling and not enabling. And I enabled, believe me. I didn't put the drugs in his hand. I didn't give him money. I drove him once to a drug dealer because I didn't want to see him in pain. And these are the lessons I learned that I share with people now that look at this is what you need to do or not to do. I traveled across the country and beyond to save my son and looked for him. He was homeless in a city in Hawaii, in Oahu, and had to look for him. And it was my last shot. It was my last shot. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to force you. I am going to do this because if you do die, there was no rock I did not turn over to help save you. Dirk, you don't want to be homeless in Hawaii. You don't. It's not paradise there. I'll tell you that right now. I've been there, stayed there. It is not paradise. No, it is not. And just trying to find your homeless loved one in Oahu, Honolulu, having knives thrown at you, know, being forced to buy meth with someone at knife point. I mean, you can't even walk down the street and they'll put a knife to you and say, you need to buy this meth. And you're like, get the fuck out, get the fuck away from me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. And then finally, you know, so it's like, look, and I'm not going to force you to come home because treatment on the island, being here, it's not working anymore. And thanks, Abigail. And I also had the opportunity to section him. But the problem with sectioning him is I didn't want him to go into a rehab detox in Hawaii because they all sucked. And there weren't that many. These islands are small. And so you go to the Salvation Army rehab in Honolulu, And right outside the windows of the Salvation Army are people struggling with addiction, and they're homeless and they're using right there. Look down the window and you're in rehab and trying to stay clean. So I wanted him to come back. We're going to go back to the mainland, and that's what we did. He made that choice. He made that choice. He made it. And he was near death. He's good, Lolo. He's good. He's real good. It's a tough journey. And you never know. Every day is just like, please, you know, but you have to learn to just let go and let God. How many funerals can you plan in your head? It's awful. And if you're a family member struggling with this, you need to get help. If you're struggling with a loved one in addiction, you need to go get help. There's no beds available anywhere. There's a guy in Mass. Facebook is Opiate Ward, Billy Fab. Remy, there's an app that my son has that shows when beds open up. Damn, I don't know the name of it. There's an app on your cell phone that shows it's in real time. It's updated like every 30 seconds, 1 minute, that shows when beds open up. And that's how my son got into a detox, from that app. My son started when he went to college, and 10 years, off and on. Just got worse the minute fentanyl came out, got worse. So you think, your school, your high school, voted top 2 in the country. It's even the high schools, any town, every town is affected. Every city, every town in USA is affected. There are pills in the high school. There is heroin in the high school. There is meth in your local high school. And you got the DARE officer coming in. He needs to come in with the dogs and sniff that stuff out, because I don't care if you could, small town USA, it's in the schools. Charlotte, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You really never got to know him. That's another thing. Like, every time I would go to my support group, it's called Learn to Cope. And that's a support group that helps give advice. You get attached to these parents, right? And you really get attached to them, and you learn to love them. And then one week they're not there and you don't see them. And your other friend says, because their son and daughter OD'd and died. But you got to keep pushing. You've got to be there for each other. You have to. If anyone's from Massachusetts and you want a great support group, if you're a family member or friend struggling with a loved one, Learn to Cope. Just put in Learn to Cope in Google and their website will show up. They have chapters all throughout New England, so. Katrina, because it's so addicting. By the time people get to fentanyl, most likely they've done pills, heroin, but now that the transition is really not heroin, it goes from pills to fentanyl. I can't answer that. But it's once the person becomes addicted, it just doesn't, there's no shock factor. It doesn't matter. I've gone to funerals of kids who have overdosed, and I've seen their friends come in high and leave to go get high. Like, you think that would, I'll walk in and I'd be like, looking at that poor family and their son or daughter laid out in a casket. And I'd be like, how could they ever do drugs? But there's no shock factor. And any person struggling with addiction will tell you that too. It doesn't, there's no bottom. People say let them hit their rock bottom. To me, rock bottom is death, is in the ground. There is no rock bottom. There is nothing that you can shake into your child or loved one to say, stop, look at this. I used to tell my son, we're going to a morgue, because I had access to a morgue, being in the medical field. I'm going to show you a kid who died from an overdose. I'm going to show you where the needle is still stuck in his arm, because it's an investigation. They're not touching anything on him. The needle is still in his vein. No shock factor, nothing. And it's tough. Yeah, sarcasm. It's so typical. And for everyone here who's lost a loved one, I am so sorry. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. Oh, Purple Rain, I love you too. It's okay, Purple. I know, it's tough. I said this was going to be tough. And it's okay if you need to leave, okay? You can reach out to me through my email, through pinkladyluck4@gmail.com, okay? But you came here. It's awesome. And you talk to us, and you talk to other people. And there's always something we can take away from everybody here that's positive. So thanks. You're welcome. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the meetings will get better. Okay, this is like the first official meeting. They'll get better. We have to touch on reality, and I know it's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for me to even to go back and talk like this, and I still have fears. You know, even though your child's in recovery, your loved one, you're always wondering that stinking thinking. But what if? But what if? But what if? But we have to learn to retrain our brains and support each other and find the positive things that we can learn through supporting each other. Okay? So one thing I want to do, one thing that is positive, that if you have a loved one or even if you're struggling with drug addiction, you should always have Narcan available in your home, in your purse, on your person. Okay? It does save lives. It does save someone from an overdose. Once they go into an overdose, it can, in 99.99 times, saves them. Unfortunately, with the fentanyl, it takes more Narcan doses to get them out of it. Okay? Narcan is available at pharmacies, CVS, Walgreens. You have to call the pharmacy to get the price, okay? I also see if you go to, if you look up, I just did it too. CVS can send you a discount coupon because insurance doesn't cover it. So it takes some money off of the price. I know in Massachusetts, out in Worcester, the AIDS Project, Worcester AIDS Project has free Narcan. It costs nothing, nothing. It's provided by the state. All that's required is a 10-minute training if you've never used it before. And they give you two. They look like this, okay? This is Narcan. This will save your loved one's life. Or if you're struggling with addiction, you probably know about this. You need to have this in your home. You need to let those you live with, your friends, know about this, that you have it in your home and where it's located. Keep it out in the open. Ours is hooked up to our refrigerator. Okay, I have in a plastic bag and it's on our refrigerator. Okay, this is a nasal spray. Well, you get 2 of these in a kit. Bye, Remy. Thanks, Angela. Yep, this is so important. Okay, so what you need to do in your state, I don't know if you have AIDS projects. That's the first place to start. Look up, say you're in Nebraska, the town or the city. Look up your town or your city and put AIDS project. okay? I'm not sure if you can buy Narcan in the UK. Can somebody look that up for Charlotte? Charlotte, that was my name at birth. I was adopted. That was the name my birth mother gave me. But it was changed. Charlotte, like the Royals. It's making a comeback, that name here. You know that? That name was never popular in the United States. It is making a comeback, Charlotte. It's a beautiful name. So if someone can look that up, if Narcan's available in the UK. I didn't even think of that. I'm so sorry. So this is Narcan, okay? Very easy to use. I believe some places still have the needle where you have to put everything together. There's no time for that, okay? Now, this is easy. It's like Afrin nasal spray. You just put it up, one in each nostril, okay? So I'm going to show you. And for those of you who, you can go on YouTube and look up administration of Narcan. And there's lots of videos out there. And plus, if when you get it, you'll be trained. I'm not sure if CVS and Walgreens does training, but if they don't, you can look it up on YouTube. And you can also, a lot of the support group I go to, I do Narcan training there. And we give it out free. So if anyone from Massachusetts, I know there are some people, look up Learn to Cope. Okay, it's a support group for families and friends affected by those in addiction. They do training there. We do give it out for free. Okay, but you have to have like a 10, 15-minute training. But Learn to Cope gives out Narcan for free. You get 2 doses. One box has 2 doses. So D-Rod, if it's only by prescription, that person can certainly call their own doctor and explain that their family member is struggling with drug addiction, and the doctor can easily write a prescription and interfax it over to the pharmacy. So that's not difficult at all. Thanks, Tony. Yep, any donations to support my channel through PayPal. Each donation, a portion of it goes to Learn to Cope to help support that group so we can be able to keep giving out Narcan for free, that we can get the literature we need. Most drug addicts have no medical or doctor. Lily, there's help out there. A lot of detoxes have what they call charity beds. You don't have to have insurance, okay? The state or the government, depending on where you live, provides free beds. Nobody is turned down, nobody. That's why that hotline, thank you, Figure, that hotline is important to have as a number, 1-888-633-3239. National Drug Hotline. Make sure it's that number. They do have free beds. And once you get in that detox, they will help your loved one or you, if you're struggling, get on Medicaid. It's not hard. It's not as hard as a lot of people think to do, to get somebody, you know, that without insurance. It's not like they're at the bottom of the list. It's not like that. Okay, so Narcan, it's also called naloxone, okay? So naloxone and Narcan are the same thing. One is the brand name, one is, I believe, the generic. Yeah, because I think the patent, I'm not sure, but, okay. I'm just looking at my monitor to make sure I have this up right. Okay? Naloxone. This you can find on their website. Hold on. Narcan.com. Okay, there's all information about what Narcan is, which is also called naloxone, how it works. Okay, it is an excellent place to learn about naloxone. Now, if you're embarrassed to go to the pharmacy, if there's people behind you, if you go, I'll link that site. I think on this site, it says something about prescription or written requests for Narcan. It's a piece of paper you print out, and it literally, you give it to the pharmacist, and it literally says something like, I am here to get a prescription for, so people behind you, so you have privacy, okay? So you don't have to be embarrassed or, you know, because unfortunately, there's still people out there who judge, and that's too bad, but we're here to teach them different. Education, okay? So, where's my flashlight? Can I use this? No. Hold on. Let me turn my light up. Okay. All right. Okay, so there's an naloxone injection, which isn't used. They find it not to be as reliable, the shelf life, and it's too time consuming. There's like 3 pieces you got to put together, and when you're in a panic like that, you're like, no, no. So the nasal spray is intranasal, meaning it's in the nose. Okay, it's easy to use and works even if you need to administer it to a person who is not breathing, okay? So you will basically, you peel the package open, and you're not going to press right here, okay, is where you press, okay? All right, so, but you put this in the one nostril, doesn't matter which one first. You put this in first, and then you press this. And it's a 1 dose. You just click. You'll hear the click. It's 1 dose. So you put it in the nose first, and then you click. Okay? The person can still be breathing or not breathing to give it. So the thing is, when you find someone, even as I've done it to a stranger on the street, and you don't know, is this an overdose or not? Even if it's not an overdose, it is safe to use. It will not hurt them. You cannot get sued. Better safe than sorry, because sometimes you don't see the needle, you don't see the paraphernalia, and so if you're not sure, when in doubt, I always say give it, okay, and then call 911 right away. Okay, so you're going to use one for one side of the nostril, and then there's another one, 2 come in a package, and you do the other side. Now, if you have more Narcan, and after a few minutes they don't come around, try physical stimuli here under the nose. If there's no response, they're not breathing or they're not coming to, you can administer it again. But 911 should be coming on the way, and they have it on them. Because of the fentanyl, sometimes it takes like 5 of those, 6, where it's just the heroin only took 1 or 2. Okay, so so if you go to that website, they have a lot of information on hospitals and they who are providing training, and they might even have information on where to get it free. Okay. Who is eligible for naloxone? Anyone who is currently using opiates. This does not work on any other medications but opiates. If you're not sure if a particular drug is an opiate or not, you can go on the internet and look up what class of drug it falls under, okay? Anyone who is a past opiate user who is at risk of returning to opiate use. So in other words, even if your loved one is in recovery or if you're in recovery, I would still keep it in the house and visible, because you never know. I mean, some people, you know, some people do relapse. And so It just because they're in recovery, don't throw that Narcan away, okay? What's up with Jennifer? Oh, great, my computer froze. Okay, well, this is what we do. Okay, okay. And also on this website site, it will show you how to administer it. The steps you need to do first: shout and shake, shout their name and shake their shoulders. Call 911 if unresponsive. Then give naloxone, one nostril, or inject one vial into the injection is into the arm or leg, but the spray is into the nostril. And then you would start CPR. If no improvement after 2 to 3 minutes, you would repeat the naloxone again if you have more on you. But 911 will be on their way and they will do it. Okay? Okay. So does anyone have questions? I know when I was reading this that a lot of questions, and I'll go through them after, and I'm sorry about Jennifer. You know, when you go to AA meetings and NA meetings and Al-Anon, they are not medical professionals in addiction. These are people supporting people, and it works. The program works. You find any support group on Facebook, online, you are blessed. You are blessed. You might not agree with everything, but there's always one thing that you'll take away from that group. So as far as the negativity, you know, I don't let it get to me. You know, I know where I've been. I know where my family's been. I know where we went, where we're going, and where we're staying through this journey. And these support groups, if you can find a support group down the street on the corner, and there's one person sitting there wanting to talk about this, then you go there and you sit and you start your own support group. You don't need to be like the president of, you know, AMA, Medical Association, to run a support group. Okay? And every information I give is fact, It's not coming out of my ass, okay? It is fact. I don't make up naloxone, okay? I don't make up how to administer it, okay? I am a medical profession. I have had 31 years of training, and I have been affected by a loved one in addiction. So I think my credentials, I think if I had to go sit in a court of law and testify on somebody who overdosed, or I had to administer CPR or something, I think they would allow my testimony. So thanks, Joanna. Thank you. That's like going into AA, you know, and standing up in the middle of AA, right? Hold on. Standing up and saying, you know, all these people in there, because they're maintaining sobriety, standing up and saying, this really sucks because there's no professional doctor here running AA or NA. You know, you don't need it. You don't need it. It's a support group. Zelda, congratulations. Congratulations to him. I gotta read it through here. Let me X out. My monitor froze. It's probably gonna crash. I gotta restart it. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Anybody in a crisis right now? It's the sound of death. Anybody in a crisis? Liz, I'm glad. I'm glad it's helping. And you know, just like when you go to a meeting, not everything you hear is what you're going to like. Some things are going to be upsetting, some things are going to be triggers. But remember, there's always one thing you can take away from a meeting. There's always something somebody will say, and you'll be like, that's me. Yeah, like I can relate, or that's a good idea, or wow, I should try that, or I'm going to hook up with him for a sponsor, or her. There's miracles in that program. I'm not promoting that you have to go there, but you can't just, once you're in recovery, you know, it's like smoking, you know. They recommend that when you quit smoking that you have a support group. The chances of success are much higher. And it's the same thing with drug addiction. You know, you need to have a sponsor. You need to go to meetings. And some people, Zelda, try like 10, 15. Some people need to go to these meetings the rest of their lives. Or if you don't like the meetings, if they don't work for you, then have, you know, a friend, a trusted friend, or someone else who's in recovery. But you can't just do it alone. You can't expect to go to detox and rehab and say, that's it, I'm good. You just can't. I wish it was that easy, but the Vivitrol. So my son tried the Vivitrol, but what they do is before they give you the injection, you have to be clean. They give you a Vivitrol in a pill form, a very small dose, and they do that to make sure you're not allergic to it. And when my son took it, he had an allergic reaction, so he was not able to go on the Vivitrol. But I heard it is very good. It lasts for 28 days. You get it through an outpatient clinic. Exactly, D-Rod. Yeah, I visited so many different Al-Anon groups. And sometimes people go to like 2 or 3 groups or 10 groups. AA has meetings every day. I mean, oh my God, like if you go look up AA.org, some people go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings a day. One day at a time. They kicked me out because I'm not AA. Who kicked you out, Rita? Well, Rose, but see, what I said is like, you might not agree with someone or they might not have the great advice. And there are things that obviously some people might not agree with me. I don't know everything. I'm just giving your dad. Yeah. So, I don't expect people to believe everything I say, you know? And I think if you go to these meetings, everyone knows that. You get up, you speak, and people are like, yeah, and they're blessed that they're here, and you take what you can, what you want, and you leave the rest. You leave the rest. When you open those doors and you leave the room or you leave this chat, you just take what you want and leave the rest behind. So, but I will always, you know, when I talk about numbers and resources, I will always give facts, always. That's like why wouldn't I? Good night, Remy. Thanks for coming. And there's tons of like support groups like this on YouTube. Tons, and on Facebook, Twitter. A lot of people can't get out. A lot of people are disabled. So thank God there's like support groups here. Oh, Rose, you're welcome. So these are the things, like if you're in a crisis and you feel that your loved one is not safe, that they are a danger to themselves or others, you can go to court and file, oh damn, what was the name of it? The section, I forget. And what they do is they will find your loved one. The police will bring them into court. Your loved one will see a psychiatrist and be evaluated. They do have rights, so it's not like because you go to court and the judge agrees to section your loved one has the right to due process. They're not being charged, but to go in front of the judge, and the psychiatrist will deem your loved one, in need of help or not. And most times the psychiatrist agrees that they need to go into detox, and they are stipulated, meaning they are forced, to go into detox. Unfortunately, a lot of these detoxes and rehabs are not locked units, so they can leave, but it's a step. It's hope. It's hope. Hope. You have to have hope. You have to have hope. 5151. Thanks, Sandy. So you just go to your courthouse. Call the courthouse before you go. Make sure that you can do it at that particular courthouse. Some courthouses are really small, and they might refer you to a larger one. And you just go there to the office and say, I'm here to file a 5150 or 5150. What was it again, Sandy? 5150. And they'll give you the paperwork. You fill it out. You go before a judge. And I think it's 24 to, I think it lasts up to 3 days now. Some places are, I think Mass is a week now. So obviously we don't always know where your loved one is. And if they can't find them, they have like a week or so many days that order remains active. Okay? I mean, something like this, I remember going to Learn to Cope and people not knowing that they can do this. And it literally has saved lives. It has literally saved lives of their loved ones from dying. That some went into detox and they made it. Some, okay, relapse, but you know what? It's hope. And then they would go back because they knew, you know what? My family cares enough about me. And you ask anyone struggling in addiction, okay, they will always say how grateful they are that their loved one was involved and did that. It's hard as a parent to section your child. Are you kidding? It's hard. Or to call the police or put them in jail, but at least jail, they're safe. The night your child's in jail or your loved one is in jail is the night you will sleep soundly. So it is sectioning, yeah. There is hope. It's a last resort. Sometimes it's a first resort. If you feel right away, that your loved one is in danger of harming themselves, which opiate use like this is harmful to oneself. It doesn't mean you got to take a knife and cut yourself. The fact that using drugs and abusing drugs like this, that is a harm to yourself. Okay, a harm to someone else might be you threaten them, or you're walking around with a needle, like or they're robbing from you. They are harm to other people. So, and the judge will give it. He will grant it, but your loved one, the psychiatrist has to say, yes, he needs or she needs rehab, and boom, he's stipulated to rehab. And that's the start of where miracles live. I'm trying to monitor again. Your sister is a miracle. Rita, you doing okay? Yeah. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. You did the right thing, girl. Hi, Kelly. Right, Casey, the body builds up a tolerance. So what you took, the last 6 months is not enough anymore. You look up. I'm gonna find that video and I will post it. Unfortunately, on Recovery Prescribed, I don't have a community page yet because I need 1,000 subs. But I'm on Pink Lady Luck is my other channel. I have a community page. I will post a. Oh, I think I can. No, I can't do it here. I will post an animated video of how addiction works and how the tolerance builds up. And that's when you increase your chances of your loved one like ODing because they're taking more and more just to stay normal. They don't even get high anymore, just to stay normal and to feel normal and not to get sick, dope sick. That's what they call it. Oh, Tony, that's awesome. If anybody wants to share their email with somebody else, if someone's looking for support, who wants to reach out, of course, my email is pinkLadyLuck. It's all one word, pinkLadyLuck, the number 4 at gmail.com. Okay, I'd love to hear from you. It might take me a couple of days because I work, like tomorrow I'm working 14 hours, but I will get back to you, okay? I will. Thanks, Purple. And by the way, can one of my mods post Purple Resurrected's YouTube channel? And I'll tell you why. Because she's awesome. I have known Purple Resurrected for a long time. A long time. She does crime. She's big on making a murderer, and she knows her stuff. Okay, she's a fact finder. She interviews unbelievable professional people in the crime, like investigators, lawyers, family members of victims who were of a tragedy like a murder. Yeah, yeah. So if someone can post, I'll post her link after I upload this. Purple Resurrected. Okay. No drama. Like Saturday night, she gave up her Saturday night to be with me, and I so appreciate you for that, Laura. Okay. Saturday nights, it's like she uses one night for drama, but it's not like off the cuff, like, oh my God, okay? It's just everyone getting together, YouTubers, like, what's going on out there, and, there is drama. But all the other nights, she's crime, and she stays focused. She stays focused. If there's a troll in there, or someone who is inappropriate, she won't focus on that. Her mods do their jobs, they get rid of the troll, and she keeps, it's like she doesn't even see it, but she does. She keeps going on. So people who like crime channels, who want to stay focused and not be distracted, some people like their dog bother. I got to get up, the dog, whatever. She just stayed, not that that's anything wrong. Some dogs have to go out, but, she does her homework before she goes on live and she gets right, she stays focused. The flow is incredible. So, and I'm not just saying that because I love her. I love her because this is how she represents herself. And it's phenomenal these days on YouTube with all the drama crap. Oh, I can hear you. Aw, thanks. You're welcome. And she's from New York. So we're from Boston. We got this Yankee Red Sox kind of like tug of war thing in the Bambino curse. But I still love her. I still love her. Hold on, Todd. All right, Daffodil. Thanks, honey. Hope you feel better. Oh, Todd. You're very welcome, honey. It's okay to cry. I cried. We'll do this again. So I think it wasn't bad tonight. Once it crashed. No signal. I will be getting a laptop soon. I'm waiting for my AdSense to be released. I just got in the mail the PIN number to verify my address. So I don't know how long that takes, but I know Laura told me AdSense releases the 22nd of every month. So I still might have to wait, but things will get better. And look at, I edited a video on Pink, but unfortunately they wouldn't let me put my pictures, and I paid for that app. So I emailed them. So hopefully I'll hear from them. But I know how to edit. I just hate doing it on my smartphone. I feel like I'm in a closet, like trying to edit. So thanks, Rose. So, yep, share the channel. Okay, once I get hooked up to Hangouts, I will have guests with me, people in recovery, people who are struggling. I will reach out and find interesting people. You know, I hope to go really far with this channel. So, and I've gotten a lot of requests to do it. So it's because of you guys. It really is. Thanks, Kentucky, Kim. God, that noise. Does anyone have any other questions before I go? And again, if I missed anything, I'm sorry. But you can email me questions too. There's a Facebook group called Life After Addiction. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, my mods. It wasn't a vibrator. It was like the computer, like, eeeh. Thanks, Purple Resurrected. Thanks, Todd. You're welcome, Ian. Lily, saving up money to get my brother teeth, hoping that will up his self-esteem. Oh my God, that is so nice. Of course it will. It's tough, one day at a time. He's alive. He's alive. You're welcome, Rose. Oh, Josie, watch the replay. It's almost over, honey. I'm sorry. You're welcome, Pinky Poo. Hi, Susan. Mom's a little bit better. She breaks down when she sees me. So I said to my dad, my mom's having a lot of confusion, and she kind of like transitioned really bad one day. We don't know what's going on. She's never seen a neurologist, and is seeing one soon in a couple of weeks. And it seems like the minute I walk in the door, she breaks down. So I have it in my mind that she's just always crying. And my dad said to me the other day, no, it's just when she sees you because she's so happy and, you know, she's scared. So, but Dad's learning to readjust her medications, and he's scared too, and he's learning. So thank you. She's doing a bit better. KCC. Okay, thanks, KCC. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Rose. Pumpkin Ori. Has anyone dealt with drug-induced psychosis? So I know, like, about meth, ice, crystal, what do they call it in Hawaii? Ice, crystal, I don't know, but big time psychosis. I don't know anybody right now who has had it or is having it. Do you want them to reach out to you? Pumpkin? Thanks, Figure. The National Drug Hotline, that's the National Drug Helpline. You'll find, if you look up Drug Abuse Hotline, you're going to find tons of different numbers, and those are linked to each different rehab places, and they're just trying to get you into their rehab, which is fine. But if you want the national, that's the national hotline, drug abuse hotline to call. That's the one that you really should call, and they will talk to you, get your location. The other numbers are more for, you know, come to our rehab, and a lot of them are private. And again, if you do not have health insurance, there are detoxes, I'll call that number, that do have free beds. And will get you on, help get you on Medicaid. Okay? Many times my son did not have insurance and he went into treatment. So, and they're great places. It doesn't mean if there's free beds there that's a crappy detox. Not at all. It doesn't work like that. It's not like an airplane. You know, the more you pay, you sit in first class, business class. It doesn't matter. You'll get the same treatment as someone that has insurance. Yeah, thank you, Mods. You're doing an awesome job. How blessed am I? Thanks, Leah. Leah, thank you, honey. How did I do? Did I do okay? So stressed. I got home from work. Things got behind and my phone wasn't charged enough. But as usual, things will get better. Things will get better. Practice makes perfect, right? Thank you. And I've got to find like my 12 step books. Not that I'm going to promote 12 steps, we can talk about it from here and there, but they have really great stories in there. And um, thanks, Fun One. You guys did amazing. Thank you. I couldn't do it without you guys. Are you kidding? Thanks, Serene. So I don't have a community channel. You don't have to subscribe to Pink Lady Luck, but those are where my updates will be for Recovery Prescribed for like the next lives. Okay, because I don't have enough subs on my Recovery Prescribed to have a community page yet. So if you want to keep in touch, do subscribe to Pink Lady Luck. Click the like button, the notification button. Hopefully you will be notified. Thank you, not YouTube. And in the meantime, Pink is a fun channel. A lot of parody, a lot of ranting while I'm driving in Boston. It's fun. It's fun. It's comedy, and it doesn't hurt anyone. There's no malice. There might be a couple of F words, F bombs, but hey, welcome to Massachusetts. Welcome to Boston. You're welcome, little lady. L. Fallon, some don't like the preaching of the 12 steps. What are your thoughts? You know what? Like I said, you take what you can. Even if someone doesn't like the 12 steps, there's always something in there that you can walk away with. And it's a mindset if you want to think of it as preaching. But I'm telling you, the 12 steps is a way of life. I don't know any other better way to walk through the journey of life by following the 12 steps. I think of it as just life lessons. I think when they hear 12 steps, it's almost like too directionary, too like, you must do this, you must standard, when I just look at it as a way of life, the book of the way of life. That's how I look at it. So I think it depends on the mindset of how a person is coming into that and how they see that. And there are some steps that confuse me, that anger me, that, the self-inventory is a tough step, and they're tough. And people might take that as maybe it's too tough and I don't like this. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But I think overall, most people do appreciate the 12 steps for what it can offer people. Yeah, and good living. Absolutely. Like I always say, you don't even have to have a problem with drinking or drugs. I tell people go to a 12-step meeting and just listen to it. And you don't have to struggle with addiction to learn something from the 12 steps and implement that in your life and to be of service to others. And your higher power doesn't have to be God. It's not, Christian based, whatever. Your higher power could be, your pet rock. Who knows? They don't preach God. They might refer to God, like in the Serenity Prayer. But, then you get those I'm offended people, the movement, hashtag I'm offended. I'm offended you said God. I'm offended, like my rant. I'm offended at the parking for pregnant women only. Or I'm offended by, parking with toddlers only. I'm offended, like I said, what's next, Parking for hemorrhoid people only, parking for I got a headache today only. Come on. Handicapped, yeah, but yeah, the hashtag I'm offended movement. Why can't they have a sign that parking for normal people only? I have no hemorrhoids, I won't lie. I don't. I don't think I ever had one. Watch, I'm going to get one tomorrow. Good night, Susan. Thank you for coming. It was good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you. My beautiful day tomorrow. 14 hours of working, and we're getting another snowstorm. I'll be doing 360s on the way home. All right, my cell is going to go dead. So thank you. We will do this again. Subscribe to Pink Lady Luck for updates for Recovery Prescribed. It'll get better here. I can't wait to get guests. If anyone's in a crisis, please email me or call 911 first if it's a really bad crisis. But if you need advice or a resource, I know people on Facebook who run phenomenal channels who have resources. Just drop me an email at pinkladyluk4@gmail.com. All right, group hug. That felt good. Thanks, Todd. Thank you, Potty Mouth. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll do the prayer one more time. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can in the